Kuminga.
Look at John Cena's face.
Cena has been beaten, bruised, battered, and torn, but look at his face.
Kuminga in there defending. Jaylen spins off of it. And Kuminga comes back to block it. And the
Jonathan Kuminga put the clamps on Jaylen Brown in the Celtics rematch. This isn't the kind of D that you find laying around on someone's bench. Worse yet, out of their rotation entirely. JK's was so good, Jaylen Brown couldn't handle it and shoved him off. It started like any other game the Hawks have played at home against a decent team. Jason Tatum was resting for the Celtics due to injury management, but so was young Jock Landale, so we'll call it a wash. The Celtics had shooters, but the Hawks had length. Ask Jaylen Brown about that full extension. A lot of people seem to be confused. What happened to the scoring? In his first 3 games, JK flashed his offensive ability.
Kuminga with a jam.
That ability puts eyes on the Hawks on a game-to-game basis. It screams, this is a fun team. But what really attracts serious attention is everything else he's doing at the moment. His job is to guard the opposing team's best player. His job is to make sure someone else other than public enemy number 1 is doing the damage if any damage is to be done. In the prior game, he guarded Tatum, and in the last game, he arrested Brown while holding Pritchard hostage. Pritchard, who was on fire 2 games ago, whipped out his fire hose and got off one lucky shot before watching his plus-minus sink like the Titanic. Jaylen Brown tried to get slick like the US oil tankers in Hormuz, only to get his ship blocked. While 6 games remain, the Hawks are on a 13-game home win streak and push to finish top 5, assuaged only by the Toronto Raptors, who have approximately the same remaining strength of schedule. Is this Hawks team for real? Check ball. The Atlanta Hawks have been the number 1 play-in merchant since the format was introduced to the league, seconded only by, you guessed it, the Golden State Warriors. Somehow, these 2 teams made a trade, and between the 2, one has pretty much guaranteed their way out of mediocrity. The Hawks, who initially had a losing record on trade day, and the Warriors with a winning record on that same day, not only traded players, but also traded places in terms of winning or losing records. The Hawks had an aggressive push to the playoffs, while the Warriors came back down to earth. While the true trade results may take months or even years, it's clear the Hawks are happy with their midseason acquisition. But something is a bit different. After his first 3 games, and with the exception of the Mavs and the Grizzlies, that is, 5 of the 11 games he's played in, Jonathan Kuminga hasn't exactly been a first option type of scorer. He's clearly known for being a scorer, however, in games against the Magic, Warriors, Pistons, and even the first round of the Celtics, something's been different. So what happened? After his first 3 games, he missed the next 3 with injury against the Bucks, 76ers, and Mavericks. He was able to play on a minutes restriction against Brooklyn, however it seemed he wasn't quite healed, so he missed yet another game against the Bucks. That would be the last game that he'd outright miss. His next 2 games saw a marginal performance against Orlando and Dallas before bowing out of the first leg of a back-to-back against Houston, presumably to play against his old teammates. The sitting of one leg of back-to-backs being standard for players on injury management and minutes restriction makes half of the situation pretty obvious. He is still healing and recovering from the bone bruise he suffered since his time with the Warriors. Up until his last game against the Celtics, there was no lift or true burst to his offensive game. It was quite noticeable that he wasn't attacking the rim as aggressively, and for the most part wasn't really looking for his shot as much as he was looking to pass to the rest of the team. You also noticed it with his jump shot, as they were mostly flat. This recovery period simply removed that extra dimension from his offense. The other half of the equation, however, is what happened when he played against the Celtics. Despite his limitations offensively, we saw that when it came to defending, he was hounding Derek White, not giving him any space to breathe. Even while providing help defense, he recovers quickly enough to alter White's shot and force a miss on what would have been an easy 3 points for the Celtics. He does the same with Tatum, not giving him any room to shoot the 3 and staying with him all the way to the basket, again altering his shot. Another closeout here on another shot by Tatum again forces a terrible miss. This isn't by accident. Jonathan Kuminga has one of the highest closeout rates on the floor. In that game, the only player who had a lower rate of offensive players scoring on them was Dyson Daniels. The players he guarded, A mix of White, Tatum, and Pritchard went 5 for 16 for a low 31% efficiency. Jonathan Kuminga, who played less minutes, mostly guarded Tatum and a couple possessions from White. Get this, when Kuminga guarded Tatum, he shot just 1 of 5 from the field for a 20% efficiency. By the end of the game, Tatum was 8 of 24, which is 33%, meaning Kuminga guarded him better than everyone else combined. To put this into perspective, Tatum was 2 of 5 when being guarded by Dyson Daniels. Put simply, he was the single best defender on Jason Tatum in the first matchup. Fast forward to last night's game and there's no Tatum. The Celtics had a back-to-back matchup and faced the Hornets the night before and decided to play JT on the first leg. Jaylen Brown noticeably didn't play the first leg, so the back-to-backs were split between the players. Considering he didn't miss a step, I would say the Celtics are resting the guys on backs-to-backs to keep them fresh for the playoffs. The fact that they beat the Hornets by 15 points with Tatum putting up 32 while going 12 of 23 confirms what I suspected. The Hawks are in a whole different tier than the Hornets, who themselves have made a leap this year. While the Hornets will be in the play-in and could possibly secure a spot in the playoffs, the Hawks are in a completely different category in their absolute domination of the Celtics. They doubled down on what they did in their prior game by locking in defensively and playing harder. It worked almost too well. Without Tatum, Jonathan Kuminga was left to guard Jaylen Brown, who after making his first 2 shots against JK, turned into Stevie Wonder when it came to finding the basket. He never made another shot against Kuminga the entire night. As a matter of fact, right after making his 2 baskets, he tries to take JK off the dribble, drives right, pulls back like he's going left, spins to go back to his right hand in incredibly meaningless fashion, creating no space, and then had the audacity to attempt the layup. Jonathan Kuminga disrespectfully slams Brown against the backboard, sending him back to the ancestors. Yeah, he didn't try that again. Brown went 9 for 29 overall on the night, really struggled when guarded by JK or Daniels, and typically only scored when not guarded by either of those two, like for example when he went off in the 4th quarter after JK left the game.
Lost the rebound, over to Brown. Down to 2:45 to play. Jaylen's 3 is good. Third 3 for Nikhil. Jaylen's firing and hitting.
Oh, back-to-back threes by Jaylen Brown.
Brown gets it back. Jaylen creates space, 16-footer, good! And a foul on Nikhil.
Wow, what a bucket by Jaylen Brown, a little step back.
For his 29 shots, Brown actually had 29 points with 14 trips to the free throw line over the course of his 40-minute game. Again, you have a player with Achilles tendonitis and you play him 40 minutes? That almost smells less fishy than the Epstein files. All this is to say that Jonathan Kuminga hasn't been a scoring threat because that currently isn't what the team needs him to do. With CJ McCollum, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Jalen Johnson on the floor, those guys are typically the main options. This isn't to say that this won't change. Much of it is part of his recovery protocol. Once he's fully cleared to play in back-to-back games, meaning he goes for an extended period of time while maintaining health and no sign of bone bruise injury flaring up, the Hawks could be looking for his offensive production. With 6 games remaining in the season, this could happen as early as this year's playoffs. Even without his offense though, his D was so good it gave the Hawks the boost it needed to gain separation from the Celtics early in the 2nd quarter and again later on in the 3rd. His impact was immediate and loud. It was no surprise that by the end of the game, along with his 10 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 blocks, he also finished with a team-high plus 14 net rating. This isn't just stats. We're seeing real, tangible, and measurable results. Even if all he gives the Hawks is what he did last night, this team becomes a very dangerous wildcard threat in the East. If you're a Hawks fan, what are your thoughts on his play so far? Are you out on him or do you think Jonathan Kuminga has potential? How far will the Hawks go in the playoffs? And if you've been watching the channel and enjoying the videos, make sure you are subscribed by checking the button below. We also have 4 channel members who get access to special perks that are currently listed when you join. So if you would like to be a member, click that join button. Currently, you get deeply personalized responses. We have a members only area and I'm hoping to expand that as our membership grows. Post your thoughts on Jonathan Kuminga and the Hawks in the comments below. If you like this video, be sure to click the like button, then click that hype button to help promote the content. Thanks for watching. Till next time, swish.